this.
He just gets the timing all wrong. The back end steps out. This is back on the back section of the course.
And all you can do is get out of it there.
Turn 7 chicane. It's the fastest chicane, 85 to 90 miles an hour. They've opened that up the last few years. Nice that he recovered. Fortunately, the exit there is pretty wide.
I think he kind of looked down. It's another sign just that I'm having trouble. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. There must be something wrong with the car.
What was his steering wheel thinking there? I don't know. I've got a microphone that does that every once in a while.
Our coverage coming from Channel 10 Australia, with Moreno still in the lead. De Ferran sits back in second, and Cristiano D'Amata is third. Paul Tracy's hanging then at fourth position, and Tagliani, despite pitching it sideways in the chicane, is in fifth. We'll be back. The race is Surfers Paradise Australia, the Grand Prix of Australia. Paul Page, Parker Johnstone, Jan Beekes with you. Gary Gerald has the weekend off.
He's on a one-race probation, Paul.
No, he's not. 44 laps are complete by the leader, Roberto Moreno, and Helio Castroneves takes that run off the course and now stops on lap 45.
Probably wants to change those Flintstone Mobile tires. I think he flat spotted the heck out of that last set. Nice pit stop. My favorite part of pit stops, the burnout.
Shinji Nakano. I assume with that length of time that for Castroneves that was a full fuel. Though you couldn't see the back of the fuel, you couldn't tell if they were going to time that stop or not. Normally they use a stick and tap the refueler on the back, but you assume that's full. There's a report too that there may be a spray at the back of Paul Tracy's car. He's back there behind D'Amata. We'll try to get an eyeball on him.
And that would be a full load for Castroneves, Paul. They're right at the window, 21 laps or so. Now we're down, of course, at 20. But when Castroneves came in, they'll need every bit of that. They can turn it up to full rich and run to the end now.
Yeah, and I think, Parker, that's what you watch. You watch up on the top now where it says 46 of 65. And every lap that's completed is less fuel they have to take on their last pit stop. So they're calculating as this race progresses, the more laps you can do, the faster your final pit stop.
Yeah, you'll see those fueler sticks come out and the guy get whacked on the back because they'll try to pick up track position with that short fuel load on this last stop.
Now, there's a couple of different techniques that the team uses. You've talked about the stick, where when they think they've had enough fuel, they hit you with the stick. The Penske team actually has LEDs inside the helmets of their fuelers.
High-tech stick.
Yep, and the Newman Haas. Uh-oh, is Moreno slowing?
Well, looks like he was grabbing for a couple of gears.
Oh.
Here comes De Ferran.
That's exactly what happened.
Found something that's got him power, but not nearly enough.
And the problem is that's on the upshift out of the chicane, and that's normally just foot on the throttle. You pull up as fast as you can, and as we've said so many times in the past with these sequential gearboxes, once you round a dog, damage a gear, they tend to go very quickly, and you destroy the entire gearbox. We'll see if he can hang on. Occasionally, it is possible, if you're not forceful, if you're starting to get a little tired on that upshift, if you don't pull back hard, it's possible to get a false neutral. Anybody that's ridden motorcycles has done that. You're not very crisp or very precise on a gear shift. You'll find a false neutral in the gearbox, and it takes you a moment to get that next shift. Find the true gear on the way up, because now it looks like he's back up to speed, but if he's damaged that box, this will come apart very, very quickly.
Whatever it was, it brought the rest of the field from nearly 4-second advantage to right on top of him. Look at De Ferran. De Ferran heads for the pits, jams on the brakes so that he can make the speed limit line. Paul Tracy comes right in with him.
That was cool. I thought he was going to pass him up the pit road there for a minute.
And the problem is when that happens, just that little bit of distraction, it throws you off your rhythm. All of a sudden, that nice cushion that he had.
Okay, this should be a time stop. Again, the Penske team uses the lights inside the fueler's helmet. Kenny Breck's already underway, but he's at pit end.
They use the stick, too.
LEDs
and a big old stick.
It's a backup. That's a backup.
The backup stick.
My wife has a backup stick, and it has nothing to do with fueling. I keep asking her, did you get it? And she keeps saying, get what? She just whacks me with that thing. We saw the backup there.
Relative positions remain the same. Moreno in trouble again. This time under attack from D'Amata. D'Amata takes the lead.
He's having some sort of problem where he just got so rattled. Now, look at him look in the mirror. He might be having a problem with a particular gear now that he's trying to nurse, but D'Amata, seeing a problem, attacked and made a very, very nice pass.
Brings Michael Andretti to third, Tagliani to fourth. Of course, they're all due for stops.
Yeah, now for Newman Haas, who, of course, Cristiano D'Amata drives for, their technique, they have put their LEDs on the actual fuel probe. And what happens is they all light up. And during the pit stop, the LEDs gradually go out in a sequence, kind of like a countdown. They pre-program it for how many gallons they want. And they watch this, each LED extinguish until they see the last one. They pull it out, and that's their technique for timing the stops.
Slower version of what the driver uses for their upshifts. I don't know if I'd want to make that fuel probe any more complicated or heavy, any heavier than it already is.
I don't want electricity on my fuel probe.
Yeah, well. I think that's good advice, Paul.
So now here is Michael Andretti in, Tagliani is in. D'Amata, Moreno have remained out. Remember, Moreno carried it one full lap further, so you would assume that he's going to get a lap to 2 laps beyond the stop made by DeFerrin.
Andretti came in third, Tag in fourth. It'll take a few laps before everyone gets this final pit stop in, and then it shakes out. We can see DeFerrin coming through in that last shot.
And now they are confirming our guess that with Moreno, it is a gearbox problem.
You see some serious conage there as we saw Cristiano D'Amata just attacking the chicane right over the top of the cones.
Look at him go. See, these guys know my in-lap, this is cool to watch.
Yeah.
My in-lap is going to make a difference as to whether I can win this race. It is cool stuff. It's like doing qualifying in the middle of a race. Can I really lay it down before I come onto pit road?
Experienced guys like Jim McGee at Pat Patrick, Ed Nethman also at Pat Patrick will tell you that you've got to absolutely put in the best lap of the race on these in-laps. So we could see the carcasses of the cones out on the track. Cristiano D'Amata just absolutely throwing the slowly in as he comes into the pits.
A little guy had just a terrific lap before his in, his pit just beyond the entrance.
Now he's shooting for about a 10-second pit stop is my guess.
He's looking at those LEDs you talked about. Oh, didn't get to see the end of that one as Roberto Moreno, the race leader, pits.
But just the way that Moreno came to a stop, it just didn't have that same kind of fire. He knows that he's got something wrong with that car.
Yeah, whether or not he can even get away.
No problem there.
Clutch is working, first gear hooks up.
But as he said, he came in very slowly. We didn't see the typical lock-up slide to a stop on the marks. You could see D'Amata cleanly out in front there.
Look at this. You catch a view just behind as they came out. Michael Andretti ahead of DeFerrin. Moreno is ahead of DeFerrin.
Again, it's because they pitted later. Just like what happened to DeFerrin last time, is the fact that DeFerrin has to pit earlier, so therefore he's out there running on a heavy tank of fuel, and these guys go for it on a light load, and that's really paying off.
So some of the field yet to stop, including this guy, Jimmy Vasser, and the rookie right behind him, Scott Dixon, trying to wrap up Rookie of the Year honors. Looks like he's got a pretty good handle on those. We'll be back. Surfers Paradise, Australia. Roberto Moreno continues to work with an ill-handling race car. Lined up now behind Michael Andretti with DeFerrin just behind him.
I think the big question mark with Moreno is actually the gearbox or some other mechanical malady. DeFerrin knows Kenny Breck right now is back in 10th place. All DeFerrin has to do is leave this place somewhere in the vicinity of Breck, just ahead, with him, just behind him. He's got the championship sewn up as we come into that last race at Fontana. And he'll be one of only 4 drivers then to win back-to-back championships, looking back to Rick Mears in 81-82, Ray Hall in 86 and 87, and our good friend Alex Zanardi in 97 and 1998.
Michel Jourdain Jr., Parker mentioned earlier, making his 100th start in the series along with Roberto Moreno. And back to the front, Jimmy Vasser.
Now, here's an interesting thought. Jimmy Vasser has a light car. He's pushing hard. He will not need as much fuel as the other guys. is this going to play the way it has for everyone else? Is the last person to hit the pit road going to have the biggest advantage?
Yeah, but he's only got about 9 seconds on the group that is actually already totally refueled. I wouldn't think that's nearly enough.
I think you're right, Paul.
Why, thanks, Mark.
It certainly is going to gain him track position from where he was running earlier.
Dixon is second.
And he's coming into the slowest corner right here, 40 miles an hour, and then you have to try and turn and put 900 horsepower down to the ground. Vasser hits pit road.
So Jimmy Vasser heads in while Dixon's going to take it another full lap, another well over 2 miles. And those would be the sounds of the guys who have already done their final stops going by.
Which is proposed. Is it possible? And I think we have the answer.
Jimmy Vasser won back here in 1996 from the pole. Sign next year with Bobby Rahal. That was announced at Laguna.
Yeah, and that, that pit stop is not going to help you either. It had to be much faster than that.
So hard to tell from this camera angle sometime. You saw Castroneves going by there. He's actually on the track and in action while you watch Vasser come off of the pit exit. It joins right at a sweeping bend that is part of the front, really the pit straightaway here. Castroneves, by the way, is a lap behind the race, 22nd place. Championship hopes went away when he went sliding off the corner.
And that back chicane, Parker, that is really the signature corner, isn't it?
It is so fun to drive that corner. And actually, the corner that leads onto that, the 5-6 complex, it's amazing how much speed you can carry in there from 180 miles an hour. It looks deceptively slow, except to take a tremendous amount of speed. And then you get down to that quick right, left chicane, the 7 complex. It just takes your breath away every time you go through there.
Now he should pit, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he does. Scott Dixon getting great fuel mileage, as well as turning great laps, coming in the lead. But as we saw with Vasser, that'll drop him well back in the standings.
It'll give the lead of the race over to Cristiano D'Amata.
There he goes. This is a cool camera angle. I like that.
That one's not bad either.
There goes second, third, fourth, fifth.
You guys play your computer games at home. You sit there and make noises with it.
Oh, that's a shame, because he and Vasser certainly were running quickly, but the problem is, like you said, Paul, they started from way too far back, so they just couldn't take advantage of being out front.
In that championship battle, as we continue to track it in progress, now just 2 competitors, Gil de Ferran and Kenny Breck. Breck has actually fallen a 4-point deficit from when he started the race. He started 26 behind. He's now 30 behind, and that will give the championship, should it continue on that way, over to Gil de Ferran. There's the koala up in his eucalyptus tree, taking a nap most of the day, most of the night. Another symbol of Australia. The Kart FedEx Championship Series, Surfers Paradise, Australia. D'Amata is the leader. He had about, 8.5 seconds last time across the line, but Michael Andretti is slowly shaving time off of the leader of the race. In the meantime, 3rd place is Roberto Moreno. His gearbox problem seems to have equalized for the moment. Right behind him is de Ferran and Tagliani, then Tracy and Kenny Breck.
Well, we've got a couple of unanswered questions. First of all, that last lap, Michael took off a big chunk of time to Cristiano D'Amata. We're not quite sure how, but we'll find that out. And we had Tagliani under direct attacking
I see
Gil de Ferran.
Did I see some smoke there from Moreno?
That's what it looked like.
Well, it certainly would fit with the reports that we've had.
Now, if you're wondering why all of a sudden he can run fairly quickly, remember there was a race that he did last year that he lost 1 gear, and he was very apologetic to the team that it took him a while to learn how to drive it that way. Well, he's obviously learned his lesson, and he's pushing that car hard.
Second round of stops started at lap 40. Look at the big moves forward. Jourdain Jr., Vasser, Dixon.
Well, we know why that was.
But then Dixon, who was leading, fell back to 8th place when he rejoined the fight.
Oh, look at Tagliani on the outside of DeFerrin.
And DeFerrin just says, I'm not playing with that.
Yeah.
Homie, don't play that. He just backed right out of that. Michael Andretti on that last lap took another 2.5 seconds off Cristiano Damata's lead.
Yeah, but think about DeFerrin. First, he's got Tagliani behind him, just with the reputation of aggressive. Now he's got Paul Tracy.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
It's like, oh, gosh.
Well, I'll just keep moving back here. Where's Breck?
Yeah, but that's the problem. Breck is next.
Exactly right.
Ah.
But even then, DeFerrin can just get behind Breck. I mean, if you're going to slide back and just sit there and collect the $1 million Vanderbilt,
there's that
Moreno's definitely got a problem.
Yeah, and that problem may be spraying all over Tagliani and the track. Look at Tracy. Runs right up under DeFerrin's wing. Tagliani goes for Moreno. Moreno goes for the pits.
And that's it.
Watch
for
Tracy.
Moreno.
Watch Tracy coming up on this first corner. Go back to the first corner.
Come on. The chicane is... Oh, well. What do you think happened?
I think Tracy made a move, and Tracy, I think, got him.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I think happened.
He had such a good run on him there. They all got bottled up behind Moreno, and Tracy obviously just kept his foot in it. Michael Andretti now, almost another second.
Let's see, look up the track.
Has cut the lead to Damata. Well, they're 10 seconds behind this battle, so it's going to be a long look up the track. Right now, Andretti now just over 4 seconds behind Damata, but then they have over 10 seconds to this group.
So now just under 10 laps to go in the run at Surfers Paradise, Australia. DeFerrin can hang in there. He's still in championship position. Moreno climbs out. His day is over. And for Kenny Brack, he's got 10 laps to do something very serious if he wants to stay in the championship. Discover who the best players in baseball were this season as voted by the players themselves this Sunday at the Players' Choice Awards. The show will feature narrators Cal Ripken Jr., Tony Gwynn, and Eric Davis. The Major League Baseball Players Association Players' Choice Awards, Sunday night at 6 Eastern. Only on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. No changes since we've left you. Damata, Andretti, Tagliani, Tracy, DeFerrin, and Breck. Let's think about Breck.
You want to talk about this, don't you?
Well, you know, I mean, there's some logic to it.
Breck behind DeFerrin. If you're Kenny Breck, how do you punt gracefully? I guess that's the question, isn't it, Paul?
Well, I think he's actually a better sport than that. But the championship is on the line. A little, not even a nudge, just you have to be there.
The Vanderbilt Cup, of course, being able to have the bragging rights. Ooh, that suspension is not right.
And will that bring out a full course caution? It is Junqueira. Now it looks like it's well enough down the course that it's safe. I can't tell where that is, though.
Certainly with a adjusted right front camber angle.
Yeah, and a little bit of toe change there as well. They go hand in hand. That's one escape road I don't believe I've been down, so I can't tell you which one it is.
And that's another driver who is probably looking for a ride for next season. Not probably, he is looking.
And with that retirement, Scott Dixon has clinched the Rookie of the Year honors, so that's another check off the list there. So congratulations to Scott Dixon.
And the championship looks like it's in the hands of Gil DeFerrin right now. He can feel that championship. We watch Tracy.
Tracy now.
DeFerrin's behind him.
Yeah, with his sights set on Tagliani. Well, by seeing those yellow flags, that would be the guess as to where Junqueira went down the escape road. And of course, Paul Tracy did get by DeFerrin, so he did complete that pass in turn number 1. I thought he was working on Tagliani, got confused there briefly, but you know what? The way that he's running.
This is Junqueira getting in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Just under braking. Gets it locked up, slides into the wall to the right, going down into turn 3. Castroneves still having braking problems. Anti-lock braking system between his brain and that foot's not quite working the way it should. problem here. You push very hard, but the slightest mistake, and you have just that split instant to decide whether to try to attempt to make the corner or you take it down the escape road.
So D'Amata has nearly 5 seconds. On second place, Michael Andretti, then Tagliani, then Tracy, then DeFerrin, Kenny Brack, Scott Dixon.
It had worked down to 4.6 seconds, but Cristiano D'Amata, 130 pounds dripping wet. I think that's grossly overstated. It's pulled it back out to 5 seconds even over Michael Andretti now.
He's driving hard, isn't he?
He has been.
Yeah, I mean, he's not cruising in the lead by any stretch of the imagination.
We've seen him pounding the curbs lap after lap. Once more on board with Bruno Junqueira coming down into turn 3. On the brakes down here, locks up the rears, turns the front of the car into the wall, slides right down the escape road.
Second place, Michael Andretti. Look at the interval up the track to Tagliani. And there's the view from inland out to Surfers Paradise in Queensland. Boy, it's a place that everybody loves to visit. Toyota, Honda, Ford, top 3. Tune in to RPM tonight at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on ESPN2. The complete wrap-up of the CART Australia race, Winston Cups in Phoenix, and the NHRA from Las Vegas. RPM tonight, your complete source for motorsports tonight, 10 on ESPN2. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Closing 5 laps now. D'Amata, Andretti, Tagliani, the top 3. Tracy and Tagliani tending to battle with one another. You ride with Dixon. That's Kenny Brack just ahead of him. And Brack currently in 6th place.
Yeah, he's pushing Brack. He's definitely closing in on Kenny.
He has been the last few laps. We're watching those onboards, just like D'Amata, crashing every curb, driving extremely hard, but that's all we've seen from this young man. Winner earlier at Nazareth this year, the youngest in CART history at 20 years and 9 months. Shows amazing maturity for someone so young on the track.
Jimmy Vasser's in there too in 8th place, right behind Dixon.
Yeah, I was saying Jimmy Vasser looks like he's also on a charge. Kenny Brack is just doing everything he can. Of course, we hypothesized as to what would he do when he got up behind DeFerrin, but right now he can't do anything because he can't stay with him.
We saw the same problem with Kenny at Houston, where he had a car that just wasn't working for him. He drove it as hard as he could and just hung on.
Watch the sidewall deflection of the tire here. This is pretty cool. Look how much change in the steering coming off that corner. .190 miles an hour. He goes down to 3rd. Again, what you do in the race, 2nd in qualifying.
And these are so difficult to judge on the exit of these chicanes. It goes downhill off camber here.
Whoa,
right into the wall.
That wasn't good. He locked up the rear brakes there. And as a result, Vasser's taking advantage.
Vasser sitting right on the back end of Dixon's car now. Vasser.
Oh! Was that a move in reaction to?
Yeah, but look what it did.
No, it didn't help.
Jimmy said, please, come on in. The water is nice. He had him looking, and now look at Vasser just disappear on him. He sucked him in big time.
And look, he just cranked off the fast lap of the race at the same time, 106.9.
With just a few laps to go, D'Amata now 6.7 seconds ahead of Andretti. This event's had 10 different winners in the 10 times it's been run. We're looking at number 11, but Jimmy Vasser just on fire here.
Now think of what might have been if Jimmy Vasser had been in the faster qualifying group.
Oh,
absolutely.
Because he's had a fast car this weekend. He's showing it now. And what a huge penalty if you're not in the fast group. You have to start mid-pack or worse.
And it's yet another area the CART's been examined. The CART has examined. It's been asked to re-examine. Because once you're in that slower group, getting out is nearly impossible. And for someone like Jimmy Vasser, if he would have had a better starting position, we might see a very different race at the front.
And it is one, though, that they said they would be taking a hard look at in their rules review over the winter. D'Amata out by nearly 8 seconds ahead of second place Michael Andretti. And Gil DeFerrin sitting in 5th. That's championship position for Gil DeFerrin. The Grand Prix of closing laps now. Surfers Paradise, Australia, the Grand Prix of Australia. Michel Jourdain working Dixon very hard. Battle is for 8th.
And Dixon.
Jourdain's got him.
Oh, not yet,
Batman.
Batman.
Now, let's see where it goes now.
You want to be on, well,
Wrong side.
yeah, exactly. Dixon's got it back.
But Dixon must have a problem, because there's no way you would normally be alongside before you even got to the exit of that final corner, turn 12.
Christian Fittipaldi behind Jourdain, closing in 2.
Yep,
Jourdain
see,
tries
same
him
problem.
again,
He's
yeah.
got a gearbox problem getting off the corners,
Where's
apparently.
Jourdain? Look to the left.
Listen, let's listen.
Where is he?
Yeah, see, he's got a
yeah,
big
yeah.
gearbox problem. That's exactly what I thought.
And Jourdain still has it.
But look at Fittipaldi behind him.
No. Fittipaldi's going to take advantage of all this.
Whoa.
Well, that was the end
This
of it,
isn't
though.
over. Here comes Fittipaldi, just like you said, Paul.
Pappas right behind him. Dixon's gearbox is done.
Pappas, Fittipaldi, Gidley.
This battle for 8th place. Jourdain finished 7th. Actually, I'm looking at his qualifying and finishing positions. Best was 6th at Vancouver this year and a 3rd at Michigan on the oval.
A white flag just came out for Cristiano D'Amata. It also, in its way, signals the white flag of the championship battle. 1 lap to go, and Gilles de Ferran will be the kart FedEx champion and the owner of the Vanderbilt Cup for the 2nd year in a row. Cristiano D'Amata, who won the first race of the season. First ride for Newman Haas Racing. Now with less than a lap to go and an 8-second lead.
You left out one accolade, though, that I think is very important for a lot of drivers. For Gilles de Ferran clinching this championship, it's the $1 million that goes with it, which means we go into that Fontana finale where the winner will also win $1 million.
For Cristiano D'Amata, it will be the 3rd win of his career. The 2nd this year, and will move him to 5th in the point standings. As Parker suggested, 11th race, 11 different winners in Surfers Paradise. There were reports that Paul Tracy's car on this final lap is on fire. He was 4th and wanted a podium. We'll try and follow that for you. There it is, checkered flag just ahead, and Cristiano D'Amata wins at Surfers Paradise.
8-second interval between D'Amata and Andretti. D'Amata never letting up during that last stint. What a tremendous drive, turning consistent laps very, very fast as Paul Tracy goes up in flames.
And here is Roger Penske looking for his new champion. That's the Tracy car on fire up at the head of the pits. And watching for de Ferran now.
De Ferran only the 4th driver in kart history to win back-to-back championships.
So Gilles de Ferran takes the championship. D'Amata takes the win, followed by Andretti and Tagliani. De Ferran came home in 4th. Paul Tracy, who had wanted a podium finish, is going to try and cross that line. Come on.
Got it.
That's all you need.
14th place for Paul Tracy the hard way.
And just what Jens Wintel, the starter, wanted was a car on fire pulling to a stop right under the starter stand. Those are the unofficial results. Cristiano D'Amata, who started 3rd, wins this race. And Gilles de Ferran, he takes the championship. So when we come back, we'll be talking with some of the key figures in the run. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Grand Prix of Australia was brought to you by FedEx, proud sponsor of the FedEx Championship Series. Born in France, he grew up in Brazil, now lives in Florida. Gilles de Ferran is the 2001 champion. De Ferran's right there, doing everything he can. De Ferran goes high. And De Ferran takes him. And De Ferran looking back checkered flag.
Great job, Jill. Great job. 2 in a row, man. You got a streak going.
And in his firm, steady way, Gil de Ferran has scored back-to-back championships, the 9th championship for Roger Penske.
Gil de Ferran, 2 from 2. How does it feel?
It feels amazing, Mark. I tell you, I'm so happy. It's a mixture of exhaustion, happiness, and everything else you can imagine. I mean, this team made all my dreams come true, and I'll give an arm and a leg for them. I'm a very happy man these days.
We can tell. We'll let you catch your breath, mate. Great effort this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations to Gil de Ferran. There are the point standings. With 1 race to go in the season, he wraps it up. And to interview Roger Penske, Barry Sheene, the great Grand Prix bike racer.
2 straight championships makes a great year for us, and certainly the 1-2 at Indy. I guess we can't ask for anything more.
Well, exactly. That's the number 11, isn't it?
That's right, and 11 wins at Indy, so I guess that we got to go on to something else next year.
I got to tell you, I asked him before. I said that's number 9, isn't it, Roger? So I don't know.
Someone else told us 11. I don't know.
So, Roger, will you be back next year?
Well, we sure hope to. We have a very, very big interest here in Australia with our business, and we've got to decide, based on what our sponsors want for the future. But we'll make that decision come November.
Cryptic comments by Roger Penske. Cristiano da Matta is the winner in Australia. The Mazda Winner's Circle interview. Here again is Barry.
Cristiano, fantastic drive.
It was a good race. Everything seemed to be going our way today. Some of the luck we haven't had. A couple of the races before seemed to turn our way today. Team did a great job. I'd just like to thank the Carl Haas, the whole Newman Haas team, Texaco Heavily, my sponsors. Just great.
You look, it was hard work.
Well, it was hot, but I'm not tired right now. I'm just a little dehydrated, I think. But I didn't have much pressure on the race after I got the lead, so it was okay.
You were very fast, Cristiano, and you did a great job.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Carl.
Congratulations to Cristiano da Matta. 1 week from today at California Speedway, the 500, presented by Toyota. We'll have the coverage for you. Paul Page for Parker Johnstone and Jan Beekes. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.